Hi, I'm ST and this is a horn block, and I'm going to show you how I cast, machined and installed these horn blocks into this Simplex locomotive chassis. But what is a horn block? What's its purpose? Let's go over and have a look at the 3D model to explain. So this is where we've got up to so far with the chassis. This is all completed. This is the horn block, and this is where it fits into the chassis, into these 6 openings. And this is a closer look at the back side of the chassis. And as you can see, now we're zoomed in, you can see there's 8 mounting holes, and these are going to be secured to the chassis with M3 bolts, which will be tapped into the chassis. So here we can see one of the bearing faces of the horn block, and this is the axle box, which slides up and down inside the horn box. So if we zoom out now and let's get rid of the chassis, we can actually see the horn block assembly with the axle block, and we can also see what other elements make up the whole horn block assembly. So first we've got the horn stay, which is this plate here on the bottom of the horn block. We've got the 2 spring pins, the spring plate, and then we've also got some springs which will be fitted above the spring plate and below the horn stay, and these will act as the suspension mechanism. We've also got the axle, the wheel, and now you can see the whole operation going up and down in the horn blocks. So the next stage of the process is casting the brass. As a source material, we're just using scrap brass we found around the workshop. As you can see here, we've got some polystyrene molds which are part way through being set up. So what we've got is a centre pouring column, and then it spreads out to the molds, and then we've got 4 risers on the pattern. And this is a picture of the setup. You know, as you can see, there's a finished mould now with a bit of a pouring dish formed on the top. The furnace is a butane fired furnace, which took about an hour to warm up for the first casting. Subsequent casting runs took about 25 minutes to melt all the metal. And here we've got a little video of the actual pour.
Okay, switch it on.
What we're doing, we're just pouring.
Just pour it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Careful.
As you can see towards the end, the cast looks a little bit lumpy. This is probably because we were under temperature and we hadn't cleared the clag off the top of the crucible.
Hold on.
So after the casting, we went to inspect the results that we've got, which was a bit of a mixed bag. The first pour, the brass was definitely too cold and we seemed to get some big lumps in the castings. The second casting, we got the temperature, we think, to the correct setting, but we had a bit of a blockage when we poured, so we only got a 2/3 filled mould. The third casting, which was probably the worst because the mould actually failed and the brass leaked out. And the fourth and final casting, we did in an open top mould. After we got these castings, the shapes were very irregular, so we had to square them up in order to get them into the mill. This was done on a 4-jaw chuck in the lathe, which allowed us to easily turn 2 parallel surfaces, which then allowed us to take them further on the mill. And this is a short video sequence of machining the first operation. So these are the 6 horn castings after we've machined operation 1. As you can see, some of them look great, others don't look so great. But not to be put off, we're going to continue with operation 2 and see if we can get some finished horn blocks that we can attach to the chassis. So the key fitting element on these horn blocks onto the chassis is this face here, which should perfectly match and fit into that face there. So after machining, the locations for the horn blocks are probably just a little bit undersized. As we can see, they don't quite go in properly. So just a little bit of filing on the outside edges is usually enough for them to slip right in. As you can see, they are quite a tight fit, but they should just slide right down to the bottom. And there we are. All horn blocks are now fitted. I think I might need to do a little bit more fettling just to make them slide in and out nice and easily. Other than that, now the next thing is to tap all these holes M3, and then we can screw the horn blocks on. First we're going to go in with the number 1 tap. And then we're going to finish up with the number 3 tap. And the screw smooths in nice and smoothly. Perfect. So anyway, these horn blocks prove very, very difficult to get the screws in whilst the chassis is assembled. So I'm just going to dismantle the chassis, put the horn blocks on, and then reassemble. And that brings this video to an end. I hope you enjoyed, and keep an eye out for the next video where we'll be making the axle boxes and finishing the horn block assemblies.